You know that feeling? When your own home, your sanctuary, suddenly feels invaded? Picture this. It's a Thursday, end of a long week, and this guy struts into my living room like he owns the place, all slicked back hair, $1,000 shoes, and an ego that filled the damn room before he even opened his mouth. He introduces himself, not that I asked, as Victor Langston, and then, bold as brass, declares he's taking my wife Evelyn away for the weekend. Just like that, like he's borrowing a cup of sugar, not hijacking my marriage. I'm standing there, sawdust still clinging to my jeans from a day wrestling hardwood, trying to process the sheer audacity. And just when I think it can't get any worse, he starts throwing threats around. Not loud, not yelling, but cold, calculated. Talking about his connections, his influence, basically spelling out how untouchable he is and how utterly screwed I'd be if I caused trouble. My first instinct? Pure, white-hot rage. Every muscle coiled, ready to wipe that smug grin off his face with one solid punch. But I didn't. Something held me back. See, real payback. It isn't loud. It's quiet. It's a slow burn, meticulously planned, and it lands exactly where it devastates the most. And ironically, holding my ground, playing the long game. Well, let's just say justice sometimes comes with a hefty severance package. Stick around. You're gonna want to hear how this train wreck unfolded and how I made sure the conductor ended up derailed. But let me back up a second. Show you how the fuse was lit before Langston even darkened my doorway. My name's Jamie Harrison, 35. I own a small business, crafting high-end custom staircases, the kind you see in mansions, fancy hotels, places where guys like Victor probably broker their shady deals. It's honest work, requires skill, pays well. I'd been married to Evelyn for 4 years. She's sharp, ambitious, a lawyer climbing the ladder at a prestigious downtown firm. Her career always came first. Kids were on hold until she made partner. I respected the drive, even if sometimes it felt like I came second too. That Thursday, I'd lucked out. A flaky client freed up my Friday, a rare 3-day weekend dropping into my lap. I rolled into the driveway around 4, expecting an empty house. But Evelyn's car was there. Weird. Thursdays were her late nights. I slipped in the back, usual routine, dust and sweat clinging to me. Something felt off. Then I heard the shower upstairs. Weirder still, she wasn't a middle-of-the-afternoon shower person. Changed, went up, and there she was, stepping into black fishnet stockings, a killer new dress laid out on the bed. My stomach tightened. "Hey," I tried, keeping it light. "Got plans I forgot?" She sighed, this heavy, deliberate sound. "No, Jamie, I'm going out, with Victor Langston. I won't be back till Sunday." Just like that, the air crackled, and that's when I heard the purr of an expensive engine pulling up outside. The man himself had arrived, with Victor Langston, won't be back till Sunday. The words hit me like a physical blow. My own wife. You can't be serious, Evelyn? You're ditching me to shack up with another guy?" My voice cracked, disbelief warring with a rising tide of fury. She didn't flinch, just locked eyes with me, cold steel where warmth used to be. "You better start getting comfortable with it, Jamie," she said, a tiny, cruel smirk playing on her lips. "This is how Victor wants things." Before I could even process that level of betrayal, Victor himself swaggered through the front door Evelyn held open for him, not even bothering to knock. He oozed arrogance, surveying my home like he was considering buying it and tearing it down. "Sawdust," he drawled, looking me up and down with disdain. "Heard you're not thrilled about Evelyn's weekend plans." That was it. Fuse blown. "You got 5 seconds to get the hell out of my house," I snarled. He laughed, a low, mocking sound, glancing at Evelyn, who smirked right back. Solidarity. Against me. Then his eyes narrowed, zeroing in on my shirt pocket. Hang on. Are you taping this? Before I could react, he lunged, snatched my phone, glanced at the screen, and with a flick of his wrist, threw it against the tiled floor. Glass exploded. Listen close, nobody, he hissed, stepping into my space. Evelyn's mine when I want her. Your opinion means nothing. Cross me, try to interfere, and you'll find out what happens when nasty files appear on your computer or whispers of money laundering follow you around. Takes just a few clicks, Jamie, and I own the mouse. He smiled then, slow and predatory, utterly convinced he'd already won. He smiled then, slow and predatory, utterly convinced he'd already won. My phone lay shattered on the floor, his threats echoing in the suddenly silent room. Every instinct screamed fight or flight, but I forced them down, showing fear, showing rage. That's what he wanted. That would validate his power trip. So, I gave him nothing. I managed a shrug, letting a flicker of calculated confusion cross my face. Sounds risky, I said, keeping my voice level. Planting illegal files, talking about money laundering. Isn't just having that kind of stuff a crime? Wouldn't you be screwing yourself over? He chuckled condescendingly. Ah, Jamie, that's the difference between men like you and men like me. What's a felony for you is an inconvenience for me. Rules are for the players, not the owners of the game. He sighed dramatically, bored with the lesson. Just stay in your lane. He gave a final, dismissive wave. Oh, and don't even dream of pushing back. He nodded towards the door, a silent command to Evelyn. Without a backward glance, without even acknowledging my existence, she picked up her designer overnight bag and walked out, breezing past me like I was furniture. The front door clicked shut, leaving me alone in the wreckage. I stared at the glittering shards of my phone. Then, a slow, cold smile spread across my face. He'd smashed my burner work phone. What Langston didn't know, what nobody knew, was that a break-in years ago had prompted me to install a state-of-the-art, hidden security system. Multiple cameras, high-fidelity microphones, all recording 24/7, saving everything securely off-site. Every arrogant word, every chilling threat, Evelyn's ice-cold betrayal, captured. Crystal clear. Game on, Langston. Game on, Langston. My hands were steady now, the earlier tremors replaced by cold resolve. I picked up my personal phone, the one safely tucked away during Victor's tantrum, and dialed Nathan Carver. Nate's not just my lawyer, he's family. He married my older sister Beatrice years ago. We lost B in a tragic accident, Lan Mat Mat Jo Lam Chung Toi Sui Sup. But Nate stayed. He's the brother I never had, solid as oak. He answered on the second ring, his usual easygoing tone. Nate? It's Jamie, I said, my voice tight. Man, I'm in deep, real deep. I need you. I gave him the rapid-fire version, Evelyn, Langston, the threats, the smashed phone, and the ace up my sleeve, the recording. There was a sharp intake of breath on his end, then silence for a beat. Okay, he said, all business now, the warmth replaced by steel. Okay, Jamie, listen to me. Lock your doors. Don't leave the house. Don't text. Don't call anyone. Understand? Clara and I are leaving now. We'll bring dinner. We handle this together. Just sit tight. He hung up. The silence roared back, amplifying the emptiness Evelyn had left behind. The image of her walking away, so effortlessly cruel, burned behind my eyes. 4 years. Gone up in smoke. While I waited, pacing the floor like a caged animal, the fury began to curdle into a deep, sickening ache. Then, finally, headlights swept across the living room window. Nathan and Clara were here. The cavalry had arrived. I swung the door open, and the relief was instant. Clara swept me into a fierce hug, her voice thick with disbelief. "Jamie, I can't even wrap my head around this." Nathan clapped a solid hand on my shoulder, his presence a tangible anchor. "We're here now, brother. We'll sort this." They came armed with bags of Chinese takeout and a six-pack, comfort food for a crisis. As we spread the cartons across the coffee table, the sheer normalcy felt bizarre against the backdrop of the afternoon's chaos. Between mouthfuls of lukewarm lo mein, I laid it all bare. Every humiliating detail, every icy word from Evelyn, every chilling threat from Langston. Then came the main event. I pulled out my laptop, logged into the encrypted cloud storage, and hit play. The video filled the screen, the audio crystal clear thanks to the hidden mics. We watched in silence as the whole ugly scene unfolded again. Victor's swagger, Evelyn's chilling compliance, the shattering of the phone, the explicit threats. Clara gasped, hand flying to her mouth. Nathan's face was grim, his jaw tight, but his lawyer eyes were laser-focused. "Damn," he breathed when it finished. The unadulterated arrogance. He handed us everything on a silver platter. He paused, scrubbing a hand over his face. "But it's not that simple, Jamie. Victor Langston isn't just some rich bully. He's Reginald Langston's son, GBH Industries." I nodded grimly. His father built that empire on connections, judges, DAs, powerful friends, all woven into a network of favors. Victor plays by the same rules, or rather, lack thereof. That's why he's so dangerous. He genuinely believes he's untouchable. The air grew heavy. The fight just got a lot more complicated. The air grew heavy. The fight just got a lot more complicated. "So," I asked, the hope I'd felt moments ago deflating. "What are you saying, Nate? That even with this recording, his connections will just make it disappear? I'm screwed?" Nathan held up a hand, his expression firm. "No, not screwed. But it's going to be a battle, and we need to choose the right battlefield. Forget civil court for now. His father's cronies could tie that up for years. Our play is criminal. Blackmail, witness tampering, charges that even powerful friends hesitate to obstruct publicly. It's a higher bar for proof, but if he gives us more—" Just then, a sharp rap echoed from the front door. Nathan glanced at his watch. Right on time. He opened it to reveal a young woman, maybe late 20s, with intelligent eyes and an air of quiet confidence, carrying a heavy-looking tech bag. "Jamie, meet Sophie Marwood," Nathan said. "Sophie's a digital forensics specialist, best in the business." I quickly explained Victor's specific threat, planting files, framing me. Sophie listened intently, nodding. "Okay," she said, jumping straight in. "He likely has two options. Physical access, someone comes here, plants the data, maybe tries to fake the timestamps. Your cameras are crucial there. Keep them rolling." She pulled a sleek gray gadget from her bag. Option 2 is remote access. This device monitors your network traffic. It'll log any unauthorized intrusion attempts. But first, critical step. We back up every legitimate file you have onto an external drive right now. Then, we wipe your computer clean. Watching her work, a fragile spark of hope rekindled. Maybe Victor's arrogance was the weapon we needed. Watching her work, a fragile spark of hope rekindled. Maybe Victor's arrogance was the weapon we needed. Nathan leaned forward, reinforcing the strategy. "Look, Jamie, that recording? It's powerful. But Victor's lawyers could argue coercion, interpretation, try to muddy it. However," his eyes hardened, "if he's arrogant and stupid enough to actually follow through on his threat and plant fabricated evidence, that's a concrete criminal act, undeniable. Something tangible that even his father's golfing buddies on the bench can't easily dismiss. We need him to overplay his hand." The thought of deliberately waiting to be framed felt surreal, twisted. So we just wait? Let him try to ruin my life? It sounded insane. Trust the process, Nathan said grimly. But you have to be smart. Stay completely off that computer starting now. Zero activity. Forensics can prove anything new wasn't put there by you. And keep your personal phone off the house Wi-Fi. He might try to access things that way. Sophie finished connecting her monitoring device near the router. It's active, she confirmed. Logging everything. I'll notify you the second anything suspicious happens. Stay safe. With a nod, she was gone. The tech trap was set. Nathan turned back to me, the mood shifting. All right. Practicalities aside for a moment. Evelyn, what do you want to do? Wait and see if she snaps out of it when she gets back, or... I didn't hesitate. The cold certainty settled deep in my bones. No, Nate, it's over. Pull the plug. She stood there and watched him threaten me, watched him smash my phone, ready to walk out with him. There's nothing left. File for divorce. Nathan nodded slowly, understanding. Got it. First thing tomorrow, I'll call Rachel Vaughn. She's the best. Nathan gave a final nod before leaving with Clara. Call any time, Jamie. Anything happens. The door closed, plunging the house back into a silence that felt heavier than before. Exhaustion finally hit me like a tidal wave, settling deep in my bones, yet my mind wouldn't shut off. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat. Every creak of the floorboards echoed Evelyn's betrayal. Sleep felt impossible, so I finally gave in and took a sleeping pill, hoping for a few hours of numb oblivion. The phone jolted me awake at 8:30 sharp the next morning. Friday, an unfamiliar number. I hesitated, then answered. Mr. Harrison, Rachel Vaughn. Her voice was crisp, professional, no time wasted. Nathan Carver briefed me early this morning. I understand the situation is complex. I can meet you at my office at 11, if that works. Relief. Action. I agreed immediately. Rachel's office was downtown, sleek and modern. She met me herself, sharp suit, firm handshake, direct gaze. Jamie, she said, skipping the platitudes, I'm sorry you're navigating this mess. Langston's name carries a certain reputation. We sat down and she got right to it. First, some good news. Nathan confirmed the house is a premarital asset, solely in your name. Legally, she has no claim to it. A knot I hadn't realized I was holding loosened in my chest. One major battle avoided. But I leaned forward, voicing my biggest fear. My business. I poured my life into building that. Can she force a sale? Demand half? The idea was sickening. Rachel didn't miss a beat, already reaching for her phone. Let's get Nathan on speaker. Rachel got Nathan on speakerphone instantly. Nate, Jamie's here. We're discussing assets, specifically the business. Nathan's voice filled the room, calm and unequivocal. Jamie, relax. Remember that prenup? The one Evelyn wasn't thrilled about signing? It specifically designates your company as separate property. Started before the marriage, built with your sweat and your family's initial help. Not hers. It's yours. Locked down tight. She has zero claim. I let out a ragged breath, the relief profound. House safe. Business safe. The foundation I'd built wasn't going to crumble entirely. Rachel nodded, satisfied. Excellent. Asset division is clear. We'll finalize the petition this afternoon. The plan, she stated, her tone leaving no room for doubt, is to have Evelyn served with divorce papers at her office, 10 a.m. sharp, Monday morning. Leaving Rachel's office felt like stepping back into the sunlight after being trapped underground. The path ahead was still dangerous, but I wasn't navigating it blindfolded anymore. My first stop was replacing the work phone Victor had smashed. A small victory, reclaiming a piece of what he'd tried to break. Then came the long weekend wait. Friday bled into Saturday. Forbidden from my office computer, consumed by anxiety, I retreated to my workshop in the backyard. The rhythmic screech of the saw, the solid thud of the hammer. It was the only way to quiet the storm in my head. I worked until my muscles screamed, pouring every ounce of frustration and fear into shaping wood, trying desperately not to think about Sunday evening, about Evelyn's return, about the trap we'd set, waiting silently in the house. As Sunday afternoon bled into evening, the nervous energy coiling in my gut tightened. She'd be back soon, any minute now. I stood in the hallway, staring at the closed door to the master bedroom. Our bedroom, not anymore. With sudden, cold clarity, I walked in, gathered the last of Evelyn's clothes from the closet, her toiletries from the bathroom, the photos she'd kept on the nightstand. I dumped everything unceremoniously in the guest room down the hall. Then I returned, closed the master bedroom door firmly, and turned the lock. The click echoed in the quiet house. I slipped the key into my pocket. It felt heavy, definitive. Just then, the familiar, arrogant growl of Victor's Mercedes broke the stillness. My heart hammered. I quickly activated the house surveillance system, audio and video. Through the blinds, I watched him drop her off. A casual wave goodbye, then Evelyn sauntered towards my front door, acting like she was returning from a spa day, not a weekend tryst. Showtime. I grabbed a book, sank into my armchair in the living room, and forced myself to look calm, absorbed, indifferent. The door opened. Evelyn swept in, flashing a bright, brittle smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Hey!" she chirped, the fake cheer grating on my nerves. "How was your weekend?" I didn't lower the book, didn't look up, just grunted, "All right." One word, flat, final. The smile evaporated instantly. Her face hardened. "Oh, perfect," she snapped, venom dripping. "Still sulking around? Pathetic. Victor told me you'd pull this." She spun on her heel, rage radiating off her in waves, and stomped up the stairs. The battle lines were drawn. The battle lines were drawn. I heard her footsteps pause outside the master bedroom upstairs. Then the distinct metallic rattle of the doorknob turning. Once, twice, more forcefully. A beat of shocked silence, then pure, undiluted rage erupted. "Jamie!" Her shriek echoed down the stairwell, sharp enough to cut glass. "Jamie Harrison, did you seriously lock me out of our bedroom?" I didn't move from my chair, didn't raise my voice. I called back, letting the calm firmness carry. "Correction, Evelyn. That's my bedroom now. Your things are waiting for you in the guest room. That's your spot until you figure out your next move." "This is insane!" she roared, her voice trembling with fury. "You think this is funny? Wait until Victor hears about this. This is not what we agreed on." A humorless smirk touched my lips. "Agreed?" I called back, injecting mock surprise into my tone. "What agreement are we talking about? Because I certainly don't recall signing anything that involved me playing doormat in my own house while you have sleepovers. It's the guest room or the highway, Evelyn. Take your pick." Dead silence. Then, wham! The guest room door slammed with enough violence to make the floorboards vibrate. Victory, round 2. Less than 15 minutes later, my personal phone buzzed. Unknown number. The text glowed with breathtaking arrogance. "Langston here. What's this I hear? Locked Evelyn out? Thought I was clear, even for a dimwit like you. Let this tantrum slide tonight. Tomorrow cook her favorite meal. Apologize. Play nice all week. Maybe I'll let her stay home next weekend." Don't, and you'll see how real my warnings are. Understood? Unbelievable. Screenshot. Sent straight to Nathan. Checkmate getting closer. Checkmate getting closer. My phone lit up almost instantly with Nathan's reply. "No way. This clown actually thinks he's bulletproof." "Pure gold, Jamie. Do not respond. Not a word. Save every single message he sends. Let him bury himself. And bury himself, he tried. Victor sent a few more texts through the night, each dripping with more entitled demands and veiled threats. Following Nathan's advice, I ignored every single one, letting his digital footprint deepen with each arrogant tap of his thumbs. Monday morning arrived thick with tension. I waited until I heard Evelyn leave. Early, quiet, no slamming doors this time, which felt somehow more ominous. A quick check of the overnight surveillance footage confirmed she'd stayed in the guest room, showered in the hall bath, and left without trying anything suspicious. But the air she left behind felt charged, brittle. While my coffee brewed, a text alert chimed. Rachel Vaughn, confirmation received. Evelyn Harper was personally served with the petition for dissolution of marriage at 10:15 a.m. at her office. It was done. The legal wheels were turning, irrevocably. I headed out to my workshop for the day, setting the house surveillance system to push motion alerts directly to my phone. Tried to lose myself in the grain of a maple slab, but focus was impossible. Every unexpected sound, every phone notification made me flinch. Midday, still nothing from Evelyn. I texted Nathan, radio silence after the papers. Feels weird. His reply was instant. Weird is right. Assume she's coordinating with Victor. Looping Sophie in now. Stay sharp, Jamie. Game's not over. The waiting stretched on, each tick of the clock amplifying the suspense. When would the other shoe drop? The waiting stretched on, each tick of the clock amplifying the suspense. When would the other shoe drop? It dropped at 3:12 p.m. Not with a bang, but with a specific buzz from my phone, the alert I'd set for motion inside the house. My blood ran cold, then hot. This was it. My thumbs flew across the screen, texting Nathan just 2 words. Game on. An immediate flashed back, heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. I pulled up the live feed from the hidden cameras, shrinking the workshop around me until only the glowing screen existed. There, the back door swung open. Evelyn marched in, her face a mask of grim determination. And she wasn't alone. A short, nondescript man I'd never seen followed her, carrying himself with a tense efficiency. They didn't hesitate, didn't look around, straight to my office. I watched, breathless, as the stranger sat in my chair, booted up my computer, the machine Sophie had wiped clean. Evelyn hovered nervously nearby as he plugged a small flash drive into the USB port. Click, drag, drop. Files appeared, fabricated timestamps likely ticking into place. The frame up, live and in high definition. One camera angle offered a perfect, unobstructed view of the man's face. Got you. While he worked, Evelyn scurried to the guest room, frantically stuffing her remaining clothes and items into black trash bags, her suitcases presumably still hostages in my locked bedroom. She wasn't just complicit, she was making her exit plan. The man finished, ejected the drive, muttered something to Evelyn, and slipped out as quickly as he'd appeared. Evelyn, dragging her makeshift luggage, hurried right after him. The house fell silent again. The trap was sprung. Seconds later, my phone rang. Nathan.